Welcome to Healthcare Matters. Today we'll be speaking with Congressman Richard Hudson, a champion of medical malpractice reform who represents North Carolina's 8th Congressional District. He recently introduced the Access Act, a bill to reduce meritless malpractice claims against physicians and lower medical malpractice insurance costs in the 2019-2020 Congress. Congressman Hudson, welcome to the show. Can you tell us which part of the Access Act is most critical to reducing the number of meritless medical malpractice claims?
Well, I think having reasonable statute of limitations on filing lawsuits is important. I think having caps on punitive damages is important. I think speeding up the process where you have more people entering into arbitration or settling before getting to the court, it helps patients by speeding up the process, and then I think by limiting the amount of money that goes to attorneys in light of going to patients, I think it's really important.
As a conservative lawmaker, how does the Access Act address the issue of states' rights?
Sure. Well, if states still have the right to set their own caps, and so and some states may choose to set caps that are higher than what my legislation calls for, but I think states have a right to do that. What we're trying to do is set a federal benchmark and encourage states to meet that benchmark. And again, only 33 states have caps on damages. For those other states that don't have any standard, this would put a standard in place.
Why is it necessary to limit the amount of money a plaintiff's attorney can make?
Well, because the patient who's been harmed deserves that money, and you do. I think most attorneys are good people doing things for the right reasons, but there are attorneys out there who have practices that prey on people and that that seek out these types of lawsuits and then shop around for courts, and they hire expert witnesses who do this for a living also. And so there's sort of a cottage industry out there that takes advantage of people who've been harmed. And we want to put an end to that. This legislation is very pro-patient.
The U.S. healthcare system, as currently configured, is not a free market. Is it even possible to re-engineer such a leviathan into a free market model?
No, that's what Republicans have been trying to do. In our repeal and replace legislation last year, what we were trying to do is bring market forces to bear in healthcare. And the way to do it is to make the patient the decision maker and put more power in the hands of the patients. That's why, as conservatives, we support things like health savings accounts. That's why we support more transparency in billing. That's why we want to empower patients to make these decisions about what insurance they need for themselves and their family. A free market healthcare system would have dozens of options, whereas if you're on the Affordable Care Act in places like North Carolina, except for a few counties, you only have one option.
Could you share some examples where a free market has been successful in the U.S. healthcare system?
These health saving plans that you see popping up, usually with Christian conservative groups or Christian groups, where individuals will join together and pay for each other's health care. And we've seen cases where healthcare costs are dramatically lower for them than for people who are in the insurance market. So that's just another example where people working together using market forces are able to bring down their healthcare costs. There's a lot of examples, but health savings accounts is one of those examples where you want to take decision making out of the hands of an insurance company and put it in the hands of consumers. But to do that, you also have to have transparency. You have to have the ability for them to shop around, and you have to create a marketplace so they have options. And you create a marketplace, you create incentives for people to compete for business. Then that's how you get there.
Congressman Hudson, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you. Bye.